the logistics that Eivazi mentioned. How do you move it? Tomatoes are perishable, and as it happens seasonally, everybody does it.
Yes.
Maybe that can be rearranged. But then you have to move it to maybe a market far away. The logistics may not even allow you to do it. So suddenly prices will just come down. Even if you have the information, you can take it to that other market. And things. I think that's a big challenge as far as this is concerned.
Yeah.
Just two more questions if you have them. So you mentioned, when you came that, you have been working for, and your unit has been working for this design architecture for this pastoral farming. But you mentioned that, everything is ready, as to design.
Yeah.
But it has not been taken into use. And if you think of the innovations, so I think the main bottleneck is that we have lots of ideas and even a lot of opportunities, but they never realize. And so maybe what's your comment upon that? The other thing is that, we were talking about also this e-tourist program in Ile-Gore, so have you been able to elaborate that?
Because, they told the embassy, then they said that it's for next year, to apply for the fund day.
Exactly, yes. But you have been sort of starting to write some ideas for that.
Yes.
Cool. Yes. Because I know that you have been working with Carolina, the Outdoor Museum at
No, it's a little bit different.
Exactly, it is, but still,
yes,
kind of similar ideas.
Yes.
But maybe you can comment upon that, because when we talk about ICT for D, so it seems to be that there are some sort of hidden, obstacles for getting, these good ideas to work. So what in your opinion prevents? What are the preventing mechanisms which mean that we, even if we have ideas, even if we have designs, so they don't materialize at the grassroots level? Like you mentioned that you have all the plans ready for helping the farmers.
Yeah.
But as I understood, so it has not.
No, they have already implemented this project.
They have.
They have already implemented this.
So it's running in some place.
Yeah, it's running in some place.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And what are the and they still continue to use it then?
Yeah, but the problem is, for example, it's a geographical information system. So we don't want to make this one obsolete due to the problem of lack of information about a water point or something. That's why we think about this need of sensors in this project.
Okay.
So it's a way to improve the existing project.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Right.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions and comments.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I forgot to mention about me that nobody knows is that actually I'm quite a nice person. But I try very hard to prevent people from knowing that. So I need to make a couple of comments on what I've seen here. The first question that I have, and that question I'm going to ask every single one of you at the end here, is what value will your technology have 100 years from now? And once you've failed that question, the next question will be an easier one that you're also going to fail, which is what value will your technology have 10 years from now? And I'm telling you this because I spend an inordinate amount of time in Africa. And I go to universities and I see very large, very expensive analog video conferencing equipment standing there, completely unused, taking up space that would have been better served by a blackboard. And the technology is there because somebody thought that we could bring education in via the telephone. So they put in an analog system. This is 7 years ago. They put in an analog system, which now is way too expensive. You cannot afford to phone to Africa at the sort of expense that an analog system takes. But also there's no money to replace it with a digital system because the money for the analog system had been so much and it hasn't shown itself to be of any use. So 10 years ago, when they put in that analog system, they caused the failure that there is now. Because it's already failed and people are saying, well, we've had it and it didn't work. So that's my first challenge to you, is when you put down. Now let me reverse that. My question is, what value is your technology going to be 100 years from now? Now, 100 years ago, my ancestor on my farm, where there's a river, it's not a river, it's just a place where water rushes down every so often. 100 years ago, an ancestor of mine built a wall that was this high from the ground. 7 years ago, my farm ran into severe trouble. And the only water that there was on the farm was caught behind this wall. And the few crops that was able to be sustained by this actually saved the farm and kept it in our family. That was the value of a wall that my ancestors spent one summer building. And so my question to you then is, exactly how valuable is your technology going to be 100 years from now? So that's a question. And in the digital environment, you know, we sit with really interesting challenges in the digital environment. We build mechanical stuff and they will break because mechanical stuff move. We build electronic stuff and we know they will last. You can have an LED with a battery, a lithium battery, and it'll probably last 100 years. Because the battery is good enough and the LED takes little enough power that it will probably last 100 years. But do we think about what value it will be 100 years from now? The second one is about the tomatoes, Carolina. If somebody gives me the tomatoes example again, let me talk to you about tomatoes and taking them to market. When a tomato gets ripe, you must sell it, regardless of the price of the market. If you bring it there 2 days after it is ripe, you're taking compost to the market, or pig food. So for the farmer, the value of knowing the price of the tomato when he gets to market is absolutely no value. You're giving him completely useless information, because when the tomato is ripe, he must sell it. Much more value can be contained out of teaching the farmer how to convert that tomato into ketchup, which he can keep on his shelf and sell at the price of ketchup when the price of tomatoes goes up or down. So we're giving the farmer the wrong information. We should give the farmer information about how to make his product scarce, not about how to get his product on the market at the right time. And then the last one, which is addressed at you guys, which is called using past record for future production, which, by the way, you spelled incorrect. It's F-U-T-U-R-E. It's the language teacher and me popping out. Past record for future prediction. Let me tell you the story of the chicken who used past records for future production. Every morning, the farmer gave the chicken a spoonful of grain, from which the chicken knew that every morning when she saw the farmer would feed her. And she believed that until the morning that the farmer did not feed her before he chopped off her head. So, using the past to predict the future is of no value at all. You need to use the future to predict the future. And those are the things that I'm sorry, I mean, it sounds cruel, but that's what I'm here for. To try and move your mindset a little. And that's the challenge to the rest of you. How are you going to use the future to predict the future? How are you going to teach people to make ketchup, not get tomatoes to the market on time? And how are you going to ensure that your technology does not actually cause an obstacle when the next generation happens? Those are the three questions. I've changed my field from computers and education to design, and what we talk about is design thinking. And design thinking is about not thinking, here I've got a little technology, how am I going to use it? But about, here is the system, and where is the bottleneck, and how do I remove the bottleneck? And maybe technology is the answer, but maybe it isn't. Maybe I need to redesign the system, and I could possibly redesign the system around the technology. So that's just a little. Mati's analysis article. We're gonna have some good argument about Mati's article, because I think the article is brilliant, but you wrote the whole article around the wrong way of the answer to your article is in there, but you missed it. We're going to have an interesting conversation.